Hey, it's Juan at PSL. I'm making another video about my town here. Last couple of videos have been being a New York Mets fan, and I made one video about my trip down to West Palm Beach, VA. And today's video, I just show you the sights again and do a little driving down to US 1. Maybe check out a store too. And as you think about coming down to Florida to work, and you relocate to my part of town, it's easy to get to the academy if you're a veteran officer. If you're not a veteran officer, then you'll do the full academy. I didn't do the full academy, so I can't tell you how it's comparable to up north. The one thing I do know, when I was with the sheriff's office, they made us shoot a ton more than I remember doing in New York. And I think that's simply because of the numbers. New York, you got so many thousands of officers you have to get through. And I remember them having, I think it was 50 shooting points, you know. So here it might have been 5 or 6 on each side, so maybe 12, you know. And here we had to do more building searches and, you know, obstacle shooting behind barrels and behind, you know, structures and cars, and shooting at metal plates. And it was more about here. And they also had the fast machine for a while too. I remember doing the fast machine, where they can change the scenarios on you, so you wouldn't exactly know what was coming. That was okay. And then you go out with an FTO, and depending on the FTO, you know, you either hit it off because you're a veteran officer, or, you know, he didn't really care that you're living on this reputation like me for being up north 20 years. And you just get through it. One way or the other, you're going to get through it. And then, you know, if in my case, I was a reserve. I lined up a job a year and a half later with the school board as a security officer, armed security officer. And that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed that job, and you know, I enjoyed. On one hand, it was busy. On the other hand, it was relaxed. Not being in uniform to me is a lot more relaxing than being in uniform. Just, you know, squeezing the gun belt with all that gear. And it was, you know, you make some friends, and you meet new co-workers, and even if they're not friends, you know, you work together, and you got to do what you got to do. But great place to work. great town. My car says it's 71 degrees. I think today is the 27th. Good thing my dash has it on display. December 27th, 71 degrees. Waiting for the New York Mets to pick up a couple of star players that are going to make us better than the ones we just either traded away or let walk away on free agency. I'm okay with some of the ball players that got to walk away. One guy walked away making $31 million last year. He actually had some complaints. So that goes to show you that the market is overvalued. It's been overvalued for a long time. I was complaining when guys were making $300 plus million a year, not a year, their contract, and to play a game, you know, that a lot of us would have played for free. Buy us cleats and buy us a new glove and feed us lunch. But I understand, you know, as a profession, I understand their dedication and their hard work. I understand the pressure of dealing with the media, I guess, and you know, if you want to call it that. And I understand, you know, the lifestyle. I got all that. I just don't get. And I notice I switch over to the New York Mets topic. I just don't get somebody making 30 plus, you know, $1 million a year and having anything to complain about. I think they forget that they're complaining to people that wouldn't make $30 million for their whole lifetime earnings. You know how big that group is, or how small the group they're in, to complain. Yes, okay, you wanted to leave, fine. You know, you think it's better living someplace else, fine. You think it's playing with another team is better, fine. You know, nobody's gonna doubt you of going out there and getting a contract that you can get some decent money on. But to complain that there was clubhouse issues, that there was, tell that to a person that has worked in an office or in a company or in a situation, an agency where things didn't go their way. Tell them that you had a tough working condition. Come on, dude. You should have just taken the $155 million and the other guy in LA the $69 million after the Mets gave you a $100 million contract. You want to complain? That's fine. I mean, I'm not saying you can't complain. I'm just saying, if you get a chance, listen to your complaint and then listen to the average person on the street. You know, that we're all counting on this, you know, on this tariff thing to get a we're all counting on this tariff bill to be passed so we can get a $2,000 bonus check, tariff check, whatever you want to call it. And you're complaining that you made $31 million last year, but somehow you didn't feel appreciated. You know, give me $31 million. I will make myself feel appreciated. I don't think they thought it through. You know, I know you got to tell the media something. You're in your new hometown. I understand that. You know, I know you got to say you're happy to be there. You know, you got to make believe that it wasn't the money that swayed you to get there. I get that. That's fine. You know, everybody handles that in their own way. What I'm complaining about, or not complaining, ranting about, is you got paid a shitload already. And now you're trying to tell me you left for greener pastures. Okay, forget it. there's 99.9 of the world living out there on regular middle class money and below. It's a slap in the face to the fact you weren't happy here with all the money you made the last couple of years. Even when you make minimum wages, what, $750,000 or so, plus bonuses, plus whatever you can get, and we're supposed to say, poor guy. Just not right. Just not right that there's any complaint going on at that price range. I'm hoping for some good names. I'm hoping we don't give away too much for Terry Skubal if he's not going to sign a longer term contract. Who was it? The Padres or the Yankees? When they gave up all those guys to the Nationals, and those guys end up being stars. Not superstars, but stars. I think it's dangerous when you give away too many guys. I think once he becomes your property, you should be talking, long-term contract if he's that good. And I think in the case of Skubal, it's proven that he is that good. You're not taking a chance. Unless he gets hurt again, Tommy John or whatever. But other than that, he looks like he's going to be a good investment. I would like to see the second baseman, first baseman for the Padres, Arise, come over. He can play first base if we don't get Cody Bellinger. I like to see Cody Bellinger too. Cody Bellinger, Arise, Skubal, maybe Framberz, depending on what kind of contract he signs. Because you need more than one star pitcher. If you only have Terry Skubal, let's say, or if you only have Framberz, the other teams that come into town, they just know they can still beat you 2 out of 3. They don't get past Skubal. And then, he's a pitcher. They're going to have good and bad games here and there. So, you need a couple of good pitchers to take 2 out of 3. Your goal should be take 2 out of 3. If you sweep the series, well, that's something else. But you should be looking to take 2 out of 3 if you want to prove you're a team that's headed in the right direction, headed into the playoffs, headed into some exciting times. As you can see, my town is awake and moving along. Schools are closed for their Christmas time period away, and City Hall and Liberty Tax, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, B&L Produce, they're also Boulevard. So as I mentioned in my previous 8 or 9 videos, I'm not sponsored. I just call out names to give you guys that are thinking about coming down knowledge of what businesses we have in this town. Because when you first move into or looking to move into a new town, you don't know what they have. You don't know what services they provide. You don't know if you're going to have to go to neighboring towns just to get essentials. Well, I got to tell you, being here 23 years, think there's much we have here that you would have to go to another town unless you just want to go to another town, or your insurance doesn't cover something in this town. And even with me, with my New York insurance, we're covered in this town. You know, primary doctor, specialists, you know, radiology, imaging, Quest Lab services, you know, CAT scans, and Cleveland Clinic, and you know, a couple of hospitals, St. Lucie Medical and Cleveland Clinic. So we have a lot of businesses down here for jobs, for, you know, services that you may need. We have a BJ's in neighboring Jensen Beach, which is about, you know, 3 or 4 blocks, it seems, from the Port St. Lucie border there by the Walmart on US 1. So, and then we have, I think, 3 or 4 Home Depots, 1 in Fort Pierce and maybe 3 in PSL. So we have, you know, it feels that way. It might be 2, but I feel like it could be 3, unless I'm counting the one in Jensen, which is still close enough where if you're buying something and it says pick it up at this location, it's not a big deal. You can take care of that. And you know, Casa del Taco and Delicias de mi abuela, restaurants, Petunia Avenue, if you're looking on Google Earth. Just a lot of businesses. Back on my meds. I'm not sure about the catching situation. I was pleasantly surprised to hear they had a pretty good stolen base defense with the catchers. I'm hoping Peterson has a better year. You know, he gives me the impression he has a couple of good games, and then he has a couple of bad games. Kodai Singer, I hope he's healthy. I'm not sure if trading him away is a wise decision, because he's making $15 million a year, and you know, that's economical at their pay scale. You know, you're looking to sign pitchers for $30-40 million a year, and this guy's making 15. You know, I'm hoping he's working through whatever he has to work through. I'm hoping he's healing through whatever he's healing, whatever his, you know, the issues were. And you know, third baseman, if it's not Beatty, if it's that guy in Seattle, Suarez, or if it's Alex Bregman, or if it's, I just saw it today on YouTube on one of the clickbaits, the guy from the Cleveland Indians, third baseman, Dominican guy, the name will come to me, but if it's him, that'd be impressive. He signed to a long-term contract. As we approach US 1, this is, I was going east that whole time in this video to get to US 1, and you'll see even more. We'll be going south in US 1 if you're following in on Google Maps, and the hospital is to the left, St. Lucie Medical. We'll change place. There's several in our town. it says it's 70 degrees, so my car is kind of right, because my car is saying 72. It felt cool, I guess, because the other days it was higher. So today felt cooler. It felt, if I had to guess, I would have said 65. Yeah, that's how cool it felt. But, you know, could be the breeze, could be just, you know, not leaving the house in a couple of days. That's a giant Walmart there on the right hand side with, you know, quite a few stores there. Metro, PCS, and Amsco. I'll read out it. As I see something as I go by, I'll read them out. But we're at Leonard Road in US 1. And I didn't have this available to me when I was looking to buy a house. So that's why I feel it's pretty cool that somebody's going around, me, going around, you know, calling out streets, calling out landmarks, calling out businesses, just to, you know, give you that feeling that you're here. And then I'm also, you know, driving around, you know, and to my appointments and stuff like that, and to my stores, just to, again, show you this town has everything. Depending on what you're looking for, it even has some high-priced real estate, but I'm not in that part of town, so I don't go there. But it has high-priced real estate, and by high price I mean, you know, $650 and above. I'm not in that crowd. Now here's what I meant. That was the Walmart, and see how close it says "Welcome to Martin County," and then "Welcome to Jensen Beach," a city in Martin County. That's how close it is. And this is Harbor Freight. And there's a plaza here. And that'll be my video for now. See you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.